brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, I'm CubaLibre, and welcome back to Let's Play Tomb Raider Underworld. So we've exited the danger zone. We still have awesome all-terrain bike with us, and we are heading into the depths of CubaLibre. Switch is locked. Notice that there is a little stone jaguar head missing. That's going to be our way out once we are done. But first, we have to plumb the depths and find our fancy Viking artifacts. I don't know exactly what I was thinking leaving the motorcycle behind. Clearly, this is a big, wide... I will switch to the shotgun, though, because we're indoors. Close range. For close encounters. Clearly, this is a big, wide hallway designed to be able to drive the motorcycle down. I guess I figured if there's pots and shit, I'm going to have to keep getting on and off the motorcycle. Might as well just run down manually and check it out first. I don't know. Or maybe I just wasn't thinking at all. I sure was right about there being pots on the way, though. And then there's an obvious jump, a ramp, that is going to require the motorcycle. So I'll go back and get it so we can make this jump. The sprint is something I dramatically underutilized earlier in the game. Its usefulness started to become apparent to me in that level at the end of the Thailand, where you have to, well, not the end of the Thailand, but where you have to pull down on the arm, and then the big arm, stone arm, comes down. You have to go over there and put the jewel in for the light. Anyways, I was sprinting a lot to try and make it before I figured out the whole box solution to that problem. At any rate, made a jump. That's pretty cool. Now, you can jump all up on these poles and shit, but there's actually no reason to do that yet. That's for later when you come back. Which I didn't realize at the time. I was just like, there doesn't seem to be anything to do. I don't understand what that's for. Now here I figure maybe there's... No, wait, no, there's nothing but... And then you die in the lamest way possible. So now I do have to climb up on all those little things, because there's a switch to lift the ramp so that I can get the hell off this little platform. Remember this section later, because we're going to have to do it on the way back, and it's a lot more frustrating than for some reason. Nope, too high to jump straight up. Gotta do a little wall bounce. Otakun style, or whatever. What do they call that? There's gotta be some name for that thing. Those little triplets. Super Metroid. Teach you about the wall jump. Anyone? I don't know. All the things in Metroid have weird names. So this level has giant spiders. That's awesome. I'm a big fan. Fuck that last spider. I'm out of here. Peace out. Wrong. So you actually need to back up as far as you possibly can to get enough room to actually make that jump. Like that. I mean, that one's actually pretty forgiving. But on the way back, remember this, because it's going to be a problem. Ooh, a nice big hub room. Love these. The exploration begins. First, of course, you just explore all the shit along the edges on the bottom, hoping to find some random pots with random treasures.
The lords of Xibalba were said to kill visitors for sport by sending them into devious trap rooms.
Trap rooms. I like the sound of that. You know that's going to be fun. I also like the sound of those spiders. Oh! Oh! That's a sweet move. That is a sweet move. I got to say, some of the acrobatic animations are pretty damn slick. I mean, they're sort of ridiculous, but they are pretty cool. That is, after all, what Lara Croft is all about. Obscene athleticism. Like that. And I like when the game indulges in that a little bit. I don't mind some ridiculousness on that front. It's kind of the idea. At any rate, the floor is mostly explored. There are these two giant switches that take body weight. There are these statues. I don't know what's going on. There's a stick there to pick up. There's so many elements in this room. Holes missing obvious items I gotta find. So at this point I'm like, alright, there's 4 trap rooms. I'll find 4 thingies to put in the 4 slots, and it'll open up the main way to get out of here. Which is basically true. There are some complicating factors though. Now with those 2 big switches that take body weight, obviously one of them is you and one of them is your motorcycle. I figured that one out pretty quick. So I'm gonna try that out right now. What does that do? Turns out absolutely nothing. That's the last thing we have to do. First we have to attend to all the other junk in this room. So after a period of some aimless exploration, I found at least one way to start climbing around the edges of the room. There are actually many ways. There's a few ways to get up along the edges, and then you can circle around pretty much the whole room, with some exceptions. At this point, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just like, I can go here. Let's see what's up here. Well, what's up here is the treasure. Do not seek the treasure. So the treasure is nice. That began a whole lot of aborted attempts to go up along that same route. It didn't end well. A lot of falling and dying. Oh, I finally realized. This is after a lot of mucking around. That stick on the floor looks like those torches those other things are holding. They're not sticks to be used in the little plug holes that you can swing on at all, which is of course what I assumed they were at the beginning. I had to look closer at it, realize there was that skull thing on the top, and that they were the little scepters for the king's statues. So then I noticed there were 2 missing. One is right there, the other one you have to poke around a little bit for. Now things are happening. Now things are happening. So what does this portend? Well, the backs of these chairs sure look like a ladder. Turns out that is not at all what they are, but I pay attention to that red herring multiple times. Ah, I see. So, during my explorations I did notice that there are 4 doors along the edges. Obviously the climby parts are to get to the 4 doors, but they were all closed. And I didn't know how to open them. This is how. So now the first one is open. Now I need to backtrack from there. Now, if you noticed right there on the left edge, that's on the left side of the door where I came into this big room, there was a ledge to get up. And I could have gone directly to the open door. That's, in retrospect, that would be the fastest way. I think that's the way you're supposed to go. But this is the way I know, because this is the way I was experimenting with before. And dying constantly. There's a tricky jump that the game doesn't like to recognize, which you'll see in a second. but I finagle it into working. But I like this. There are multiple ways to get there. One of them is less efficient than another, and it's really intended for a different puzzle solution, but you can still use it. That to me is the mark of some good level design. Alternate paths, some of which are better than others. So jumping from up here to that low post beneath you, the game does not at all like to... Normally when you're jumping to these little posts that you balance on top of, it kind of... the jump is sticky. If you don't point directly at it, it'll kind of figure out, yeah, that's probably where you want to go, not off the ledge into nothingness. But it really doesn't like to recognize it here. You have to line it up very straight. So I died a bunch of times trying to do that earlier. But that gets me to up here, which gets me across this gap, which gets me across the next gap and over to the thing. The thing is the door. When I say the thing, I mean the open door. So notice that this this post that's sticking, this little ledge that's sticking out of the wall that I'm about to jump to, you could just climb directly to it by some ledges on the wall to the left, which would have been a lot easier than going the way I went. But anyways, let's head into our first trap room. Some old-fashioned Temple of Doom spike traps. Love it. Getting cut in my head's hitbox, but not in my head. Don't like it. That was bullshit. I even reacted in time. But instead of trying to dive like a cool guy, turns out you can just crouch. Yeah, it's very threatening until you just sit there and crouch. It's also nice that as soon as you get past it, it stops. It's all very convenient, frankly. Very nice, very nice. So here is our first thingy-majig. Very likely the thing that goes in those little color-coded holes back in the main hub room. So now the question is, those spears are now blocking my way back. How do I get back? Well, that thing that I'm on the side of the wall looks like a ledge, but I jump at it and nothing happens. So I'm like, okay, there must not be a ledge. There must be some other way. But see, the answer to that is no. It is just a ledge. It just didn't decide to stick when I jumped at it the first time, which led me on this wild goose chase. And I was like, fuck this. This has got to be a ledge. It's got to. And it totally is. Thanks, game. Thank you, game, for your inaccurate and gormy platforming, sticky decision-making physics. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. Now, notice at this point I could just drop off and walk out. So I'm like, why did they let you walk on all these things? Well, it turns out, if you look in front of me right now, there's an alcove up in the top of the wall, and in that alcove is a treasure. This alcove, in fact, exists in each one of the 4 trap rooms, and there's a treasure in each one of them. Now, this, to me, is good treasures. They are fairly obvious. You can see them just by looking around a little bit. And the challenge is, how do you get to them? So there's an easy way out of each trap room if you just want to grab the item. But there's a harder alternate route to take on the way back if you want to get the treasure in the alcove. It's a little predictable, but it is... I like that. It's a lot better than a fucking pot in a fucking corner for no reason. So once we're done shooting magically spawning little spiders with our magically perfectly aiming pistols, we can grab the next king statue dealie and open the next trap room. Oh yeah, I was convinced that the thing I picked up had white paint on it. It totally looked white. But when I run up to the little white thing, it doesn't give me a prompt. So I look at it and I'm like, I guess that's actually yellow. But I could have when it was sweared. I could have sweared that when I picked it up it looked white. Whatever, it's the yellow one. Fine. No big deal. Now this is the second half, what you do with the statues. Once you get the slab out of the trap room, the thing moves back, and I don't know why you can do that yet, but obviously if you can do it, you should do it. So, let's open ourselves another trap room. All of that was just me being like, hey, what the hell did I do by pushing the statue back? The answer is nothing. You have to do all 4 of them before anything can happen, but whatever. Lucky me, this is the easy one. You can just walk up to this one. No fancy platforming here. Let's go take a peek. Big giant crushy walls. Shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level! Shut them all down! Oh god, I can hear them screaming. Okay, I'm done. So this is kind of a cool use of the grapple. Obviously you have to pull this block to you in order to get out. This is fun. Yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead and die, spiders. But of course, every time the things slam shut, it cuts off your grapple. So you have to get it close enough to jump to it before they slam. Oh yeah, nice little flippy floppy flippy. Unfortunately, no grapple ring on this side. So the question is, I need to use the block to get up to that, yeah, oops. To get up to the alcove with the treasure. But you can't pull the block from the other side, you can only pull it from this side. So, how do I get that to work? It takes me a little bit of figuring. I'm like, oh, from here I can jump up and grab those, the smashy walls as they come in. But if you look carefully, right now I'm foregrounding the solution. If you look carefully, they're all rounded off and not grabbable, except for the ones right here at the end. They still have sharper edges, so they're actually grabbable. So as soon as I'm done falling through the stone blocks, magically, I can pull myself up, get up here, and then the solution is simple. God damn, that action prompt is the same button as melee, but the action prompt's a very narrow thing. It's fucking annoying. Now, the nice camera angle when it showed you the door also showed you that nice ramp that led down to it. Obviously I need to get up to the ramp so I can slide down it and jump off to the door. So now the question is just how to get to the ramp. And the answer is this ring right here. This is one of the easier ones. Probably the second easiest one next to the one where you just walk up the damn stairs. Not so much platforming for this one. Thrilling commentary. Thrilling commentary on CubaLibre's Let's Play channels. Don't even worry. Now, this is interesting to me too. So, what you have here is just a bunch of rubble. There's a couple grates on the side of the wall, but they don't do anything. I sort of mess with them to try and figure out what's going on. They actually do nothing. So actually, this is a broken trap room. Clearly, it at one point held some kind of trap. Likely, I don't know, something would come into this grates. Maybe it would flood the room with water or gas, or it would let out rancid animals or rabid animals. Either way, maybe they're rotting, maybe they're diseased. But right now, it's just old and it fell apart. So there's no traps here anymore. So, I really like that. It's a cool bit of level design. Not everything has to be an explicit challenge. Now, it took me a long time to figure out how to get this alcove, because the first thing I did was jump at it and nothing, and I just fell. And I'm like, alright, clearly you just have to jump. And you just have to jump. I don't know why the first time I did it didn't work. It's about as long as your jump can be. Whatever, it was really frustrating. I was in there for like 5 minutes, and then it turned out I decided to jump. Anyways, as I was saying, part of the whole thing about exploration is, of course, red herrings. And part of the thing about red herrings is that not every part of the game has to be a, oh, I just beat the shit out of that spider. Has to be a direct mechanical challenge. Not every segment of the game has to be an obstacle course. It's not, this isn't Super Mario Brothers. It's trying to replicate some kind of verisimilitude, some kind of real world's logic, if not an actual real world location. And part of the thrill of discovery is finding shit that ain't what it exactly supposed to be. So I like the fact that it's like there's 4 trap rooms with 4 slabs and 4 treasures and all that. Like very predictable kind of video gamey setup is somewhat realisticfied, verisimilitudized by just having some shit that's just broke. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference towards making the game feel like an authentic and interesting experience. I like those little spiders stuck in the geometry. Not everything in this game is that well crafted. Anyway, I think I figured out the platforming path to get to this last trap room, so let's go do it. Once again, not positive that this is the most efficient way to get over here. It is certainly a way to get over here. It works. But if coming from the other side, it might work better. I don't know. I don't know that for a fact. I haven't done a battery of scientific tests to figure it out. But it's at least worth noting that, once again, there are 2 ways over here. And one of them might be better than the other. Maybe if I had looked a little harder, I could have saved myself some time and energy. Man, they're just getting lazy as shit with these treasures. There's just 2 of them in plain sight, right next to each other. And another one 10 feet away in the next room. I don't even know what they're trying to do anymore. Like, that is just collectathon bullshit for collectathon bullshit's sake. And I don't even know what to say about it. I still compulsively pick them all up, of course. But, I don't know, man. It's pretty whack. Interestingly, this trap room is the only one in which getting the treasure is actually easier than just getting to the other side of the room. You can just get right up here. But actually getting the game object is a little more tricky. Luckily, we found out through a lot of trial and error that if you get a treasure and then die, it still saves you getting the treasure, so don't have to do that again. So clearly this is all about timing, watching when the fire covers the route you have to go to, timing it correctly so that you don't get burned. That's pretty much what it's all about. Unlike crushy walls and stabby spear traps, I'm not sure there's a direct Indiana Jones analog for the very standard video game bursts of flame coming out of the walls and you have to time it right trap. In fact, I don't know if that's from any movie, but it seems to be in every video game. It's kind of interesting that that little aesthetic idea hasn't cross-pollinated. So, correct me if I'm wrong. If you tell me in the comments what movie that shit is from. Fire coming out the walls, you gotta time it shit. Because I'd be very curious if you could think of one off the top of your head. I can't. Now, this is the point where I realize, at first I'm like, okay, I gotta time dropping down onto the one below me because the fire shoots up and it'll kill me if I'm standing on it. And I gotta go blah blah blah. And then I start to think, wait a minute. The last flame on the way out. No. Oh god, didn't do it in time. Oh god. Bleh. The last flame on the way out also goes on and off. It's not permanently on like these ones over here. So why don't I just fucking jump and get the fuck out of here. Later. Peace out. Take a little fall damage, but bleh. I got health packs coming out of my ears at this point. They just throw them at you in this level. Almost as much as they throw treasures at you. Well, that's all 4 slabs. This will be all 4 statues in place. What now? What? Well, what is the last thing, the last mechanism in here that I haven't manipulated to any effect, which is the double, these big double body weight switches. So let's get that done and see what happens. Now this is me noticing, wait a minute, there are ledges right here. That would have been a way easier way to get to that door. And then I feel like an idiot. Ah, whatever, let's go. So those laddery looking things on the back of the king throne statue, whatever's, were gear teeth, not ladders, gear teeth. And now it becomes obvious to me, okay, this is another big old broad hallway with no obstacles, you know, that you'd have to jump over. So obviously they want me to take my motorcycle, so I will go do that. But first, holy shit, it's a whole lot of spiders. And me getting stuck on shit so I can't jump out of the way. This is great, thank you. Thank you very much. Luckily, they can't hit me now, so I have all the time in the world to try and remember what button it is to throw a grenade. Which I couldn't tell you right now, even right now at this point. Because I always forget. Alright, let's danger zone it a little bit. Get down this hallway. Danger zone! Now, obviously, so I checked behind those little ledges just in case they hide pots or whatever back there. But then, as I go on, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to swing the camera all the way and check behind each one and mess up my whole motorcycle flow. That's bullshit. I have an inkling that I'll have to come back through this way, which will give me an opportunity to see those doorways from the other side anyway. Turns out to be correct. So that's nice. What am I looking at here? Ah, stone jaguar head. If you recall, way back at the beginning, it appeared there was a statue missing a stone jaguar head. So that's going to be our key out of here. This poor guy didn't make it, and he had a long way to go. Frankly, I have no idea how he planned to make it out of here without a special all-terrain motorcycle. Seems to be the way the ancient Mayans designed for you to get out of here was all-terrain motorcycle. I don't know what their backup plan was.
The Midgard Serpent Jormungandr that lies on the bottom of the ocean, encircling all the world. Coming of Ragnarok, Jormungandr thrashes beneath the sea, flooding the land and vomiting its deadly poison into the air. The final battle of the gods. Thor kills Jormungandr with his hammer, Mjolnir, but then he retreats only 9 steps before he succumbs to the serpent's venom.
So, this is not actually the end of the level, / beginning of the next one. We're only about 2/3, maybe half of the way through, but we're already half an hour in, so I figured I'd split it into 2 parts. So, I'm CubaLibre, thanks for watching, see you next mission.